Good afternoon on what is a warm, bright and sunny day. It is Wednesday the 1st of May and I'm in the reading up with a nice hot cup of tea and a box to continue unboxing. And what I've got in here is a copy of Rolemaster Unified Core Lore. So, this is a character and combat system adaptable to any fantasy role-playing system. Published by Ice Crown Enterprises, as it was, 40 or more years ago. Originally, it really consisted of sort of like in a series of supplements. First arms lore, then spell lore, and so on, character lore, and so on. And these would be codified and unified into one box set. Second edition, that would be essentially Rolemaster. Published in 1984, so 40 years ago. The game itself is older than that. So, for over 4 decades, Rolemaster has been the definitive role-playing fantasy game that combines realism and depth without sacrificing playability. Rolemaster Unified is the next evolution, drawing upon the best elements of the previous editions to create a streamlined and consistent game. Rolemaster Core Lore is the cornerstone of Rolemaster Unified. Rolemaster Core Lore is divided into 3 parts: character lore, a wide range of character creation choices, 22 professions, 23 races, 10 cultures, and a comprehensive system of talents and flaws, a system of 10 temporary and potential stats determined by using both assigned and random elements, a skill development system that allows the character to improve their skill capabilities without absolute restrictions, complete, consolidated, and streamlined guidelines for resolving actions, magic, and attacks, arms lore, the highly acclaimed combat system, complete rules for melee, ranged and spell combat with new effective mechanics for battling large and small monsters, 39 attack tables for weapons, animal, monstrous and spell attacks, 15 critical strike tables, acid, cold, electricity, grapple, heat, holy, impact, crush with a K, puncher, slash, steam, strikes, subdue, sweeps and unbalance, providing injuries with explicit effects and descriptions. Game Master Lore, helpful guidance on running the game with rules for healing, social skills, fear, morale, and as well as environmental hazards, poisons and diseases. Rules and guidance on creating races, cultures and professions using the fully balanced mechanics employed across Rolemaster Unified. There we go. That's a little bit tight on there with the text. There would have been a bit more space there. But inside. Credits page, and the playtesters got quite a lengthy list of playtest names there, so that makes it best part of 2 pages of worth of those. And then we have the lengthy table of contents. Before we get into chapter 1, introduction, explaining the basics of the game, dice rolls. Essentially what you're primarily trying to do is when you're taking actions is, as I recall, you're rolling percentile dice and attempting to score over 100 or more. The higher the better, and they can be open-ended as well. So the explanation of the core concepts, how the dice rolls work, and how skills, maneuvers, movement, encumbrance, essentially all the elements work. And you've got a glossary. So this is all preparing you for the rest of the book. I like the fact there's a glossary essentially up front, so you're not going, what does this mean? It's telling you before you start delving into what the game is about. And here we start off with character lore, where your characters essentially described basically consisting of 10 stats, a race, a culture, a profession, level, and his skills, talents and flaws. And here we get into how to do characters and going through the different races. So we start off with a general background, and and then looking at group cohesion, because you basically as a playing group you kind of got to work together. And then we've got the list of all the races. So they include a couple of the Avenarchs, basically like bird people. Then we're on to dwarves and elves, and that includes fair, high, grey, wood, so on. Gnolls, basically a different version of the gnoll as to what you would expect from Dungeons and Dragons. Gnomes, goblins, and graters. So frog people, half elves, halflings. So yeah, those would basically be little boxes you get on each race. Hobgoblins and humans, and then humans are further broken down into we've got cave humans, high humans, common humans, humans mixed, and then on to Halberstons, which would be sort of like half giants, basically giantlings or great men, Idavea, and kobolds. So these are not you will find these. You can find these all in one setting. You've got the Nycamarith and orcs. Some of these you would normally have in a fantasy setting, atypical fantasy. You would have as the enemy, so orcs and hobgoblins and goblins and kobolds and so on. And orcs are further broken down into grey, scrug, vard, and lesser. We've got Karnos. Looks a bit like basically a deer folk, sea krolls and subakai. So you've got quite a range of races in here, quite different to what you normally expect. Solagir and Stoilizii. Yes, I'm going to pronounce that wrong. So, there's no pronunciation guide there, that's my excuse. Trolls and Wulfen, so you can play a wolf as well. And then we move on to cultures. What we've got in here: cosmopolitan, harsh, mariner, nomad, reaver, rural, highland. And these are going to provide bonuses to your skills. And then we get into professions. Including basically the no profession, in case you don't want one. I can remember playing a halfling at one point where I had no profession because I couldn't decide. And basically I had an enormous list of skills, all at very base level, and I was useless. So in the realm of arms, you've got rogue, labourer, thief. So, labourer as an adventuring class is an interesting choice. Fighter, warrior, monk, scholar, and this is, you've got a list of skill costs and the professional skills by class. And we've got the realm of channeling, cleric, druid, and paladin. And ranger, and then we move on to the realm of essence, and that includes illusionist, dabbler, realm of mentalism, mentalist, and monk, magent. We've got hybrid realms, so healer and sorcerer. And mystic. I didn't see wizard in there. That might be covered by the sorcerer. We've also got the bard in the realm of essence. It doesn't appear to be listed there as a wizard. But these are kind of not in alphabetical order. So those are your professions. Then we move on to the stats, and how to generate them. So you're quite a way into the book before you get into the point where you start actually rolling dice or creating the character per se. You're making choices beforehand. Skills and talents, picking and finishing touches, and how to handle advancement, how to handle experience and improvement. And here we have a fully worked out example, player character. And that is, let's have a look, a Sibakai Highland Ranger. And we've got one for a human mixed urban thief. So you've got multiple different examples there you can just look at. Move on to skills. And that's the skills list. Let's go through the skills one by one with examples. So, you know, things like body discipline and brawn. So there's some quite physical skills in there, combat expertise, composition, crafting, delving. So you've got quite an extensive list of skills to choose from, including movement skills, and that includes climbing, flying, running, swimming, performance art, sciences, social skills, spellcasting, subterfuge, and then technical like locks and mechanics and traps. So that's for your thief type. And then we have vocation skills at the end before we move on to talents. And talents can include things like ambidextrous or essentially quick caster. You've got a list of those. Again, classified, I mean, basically senses, so they might be acute hearing, poor hearing, destiny sense, direction sense. Others might be distinct odour, disturbing voice, golden throat, iron will, the look of eagles. Character still maneuvers and movement. Equipment. So start off with a guide on how not to treat them, how to break them, and then the equipment lists and possible prices. You've got a section on repairing them if you do break them. So you've got your tables of items, armour and shields, and weapons, and then we actually move on to weapons and armour. So we've got a list of them, descriptions of the various weapons, and armour, piecemeal armour, armour types, and then sort of like an in-game fiction, how to care and feed your armour and weapons. There's some more in-game fiction. And then we move on to arms law. So, you know, this is what you'll be wielding. This is how you wield it. So, talking about the introduction, and then we move straight into the combat round, what you can do in it, what tactical movement involves, and the round sequence. How to make an attack, including area attacks, handling wrong-sized weapons, how to get and use an offensive bonus, overcoming a defensive bonus, or using that to advantage, special manoeuvres, so call shots, firing into melee, katas for your martial artists, mounted combat, how to protect others, and then subdue damage before we move on to criticals and injuries. Because in some ways that was where all the fun of combat was basically rolling high enough to actually inflict the critical injury. Now we have an extended example of play of combat, so that shows you how it works. And then we have the attack tables. So that's just for the arming sword, fireball, ball lightning, battle axe, beak, bite, bowler, bolt fire, and ice. Wow. And again, lightning and water, and bows, long, short, broadsword, and claw. It's only traditional. Clubs, crossbows. Yeah, I'm not going to show you all of these. It's even interesting things like crush, falchion, and fighting stick. Grapple, horn, mace. Saying I'm not going to show you these, but shield and sling. Stinger, and so on all the way down to whip, and then we've got critical tables. So these are rolled on when you do really well with your strike. And then we get into the background. The Game Master lore, and so discussing things like power level, so your player characters, starting levels, starting wealth, but how to award experience, and then creating your own content. So this will be creating races and cultures, languages and professions there. Skills, talents and flaws as well. I'll move on to health. So this is where your section of your healing is. A little bit oddly placed, I think. After the section of all that damage, you've got discussion of being a GM and then healing. Perhaps it should have been sort of like the other way around. So dealing with bone injuries, burn injuries, skin and tissue injuries. Yeah, this is quite brutal. When it gets down to it, matters of life and death. And then psychology, so we're dealing with the mentality of adventurings. So we've got initial reactions, social skills, and how do they come into play. Also handling fear and morale in your adventuring. Okay, environment. So different biomes, drowning, extreme temperatures, falling objects, poison and disease, visibility, darkness, weather, and so on, and then the indices, and your character sheet. So that is Rolemaster Unified core lore. So what it doesn't include is spells, as far as I can see. So if you're going to play a magic user, you're going to need something else. There's no list of spells. So hopefully that will come along with core lore, or basically role player unified magic lore, or something like that, or spell lore. But this is a good start, I think. And this is a really good one for fans of the original game. or fans of the games that followed, like Merp. But I look forward to giving this a good review in due course. It is due a review this year, but 1984, oh, it's basically when I'm recording this, 1984, when the Unified Edition appeared. So, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box from which I will unbox a book or game, or in this case, a role-playing game, which I will talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.